So, good morning, on and all present here. Welcome to all for the third day of webinar series 2 on recent developments in social science research. Now I request Dr. Suresh Babu sir to propose welcome address.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It's my immense pleasure and glad to welcome all of you for this digital gathering. At the outset, I would like to welcome all the participants from various parts of India, the colleagues and students, scholars, and those who are interested groups of various NGOs and other civil society. My special welcome to today's guest speaker, Dr. Sigamani Panir, a professor and head of the Department Social Work, Central University of Thiruvarur, Tamil Nadu. And we'll be introducing about him in formal introduction by the Dr. Sambat Kumar. But before that, I just want to say a few words about Dr. Sigamani. Dr. Sigamani is my contemporary in Jawaharlal Nehru University, and we have really had great discussions and we have good interactions in regard to various social issues and social issues of society. And Sigamani has done his MPhil PhD in JNU, and further he joined there in Jamia Millia Ismaila as an assistant professor, and he worked for so many years. Then he came to Central University of Thiruvarur, Tamil Nadu, and he published many articles, various reputed journals, national, international, and credibility is assisting his administration tremendously. I mean, we used to talk about every time I call him, he's busy with some work. He never lift his phone. That is the important thing. The problem is that he always engaging with this entire time with the administration academy. Such a great personality. He has been delivering a lot of lectures in and around India, and especially, as he said, more than 7 webinar program he had participated and delivered a special lecture on different various topics with regard to pandemic. Sir, on behalf of the Department of Sociology and Population Studies, Bharatiya University, Coimbatore, I wholeheartedly welcome you, sir, for this digital gathering and webinar series 2, Research Developments in Methodology. And once again, I want to thank my university authorities for giving us an opportunity to organize this continuous series from 1 to, and we're going to have another series called third series. So I thank our university authorities for giving us a chance to do so. Sir, finally, I just wanted to welcome all of the people from various parts of and get connected with this webinar series. And the special lecture will be focused on relevance of transdisciplinary research in pandemics, climate change, and growing inequality. This title is very unique title, and this is the lecture which you are going to see a different kind of approach being adapted by the presenter today. So definitely this lecture would going to enlighten us tremendously, and definitely this we will be getting benefited out of this. Sir, once again I welcome you, sir, for the honest gathering, and welcome once again, and I will welcome all the participants of this platform. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir. Now I will hand over my mic to Dr. Sambat Kumar for the Department of Sociology. Thank you.
So good morning again, on and all, and thanks to Dr. Suresh Babu sir for welcoming the guest and welcoming you all. I think we have such an eminent personality with us today, Dr. Sigamani Panir, currently holding the position as a professor and head the Department of Social Work, School of Social Sciences and Humanities, and coordinator, Center for Happiness, Central University of Tamil Nadu. and former coordinator, Department of Applied Psychology, School of Behavioral Sciences. Okay. And he has been a visiting research professor at the School of Public Health, University of Minnesota, USA. Visiting professor, Jiuzhou University, China. Guest professor, Tianjin University of Finance and Economics, Tianjin, China. And visiting professor, Department of Management Studies, Sacred Heart College, Tirupattur, affiliated to Tiruvallur University, Vellore. And he has authored articles of national and international reputed journals published by Palgrave Macmillan, Macmillan Publishers Limited, Sage, Springer, Wiley, Elsewhere, BMC Tobacco Induced Diseases, Bloomsbury, Economic and Political Weekly, and Cambridge Scholars, etc. And he has published 16 academic reference books published by Macmillan, Springer, and Bloomsbury. And he is a recipient of prestigious Raman Fellowship, that is Singh Obama Initiatives, hosted at the Division of Environmental Health Sciences, School of Public Health, University of Minnesota, Minneapolis, Minnesota, USA. And he is a distinguished researcher, credited as being the principal investigator of major projects funded by Indian Council of Social Science Research, New Delhi. Co-PA of extramural research project funded by Indian Council of Medical Research, New Delhi. Co-PA of Global Spotlight Research Project funded by University of Minnesota, USA. Co-PA of Indo-US 21st Century Knowledge Initiative Project funded by University Grant Commission through United States India Educational Foundation. He has conducted research in various areas relating to new public health management, drug delivery system, public-private partnerships in healthcare, occupational health, and women's health. And his short biography itself, I feel, speaks volume about his achievements. And sir, we are really fortunate to have you, such a eminent person with high credentials. Sir, we are really happy and honored to have you as a resource person today. The topic, as already Dr. Suresh Babu sir introduced the topic, but still I wanted to highlight a little more, some more points on that. The topic sir is going to address today is relevance of transdisciplinary research in pandemics, climate change, and growing inequality. And this transdisciplinary research is going to be the future of research, because even UGC also stressing on interdisciplinary research and transdisciplinary research. And even I heard my scholars telling that hearing SARS addressing in some other I'm very sorry, in Gandhigram Rural University. They said that SAR's presentation was excellent that day. So that is the reason why we actually had SAR in our mind. Sometime we wanted to invite him in person to our department to address to our students and scholars. But due to this pandemic, we could not, sir. But I am happy that we connected with you, at least through this digital platform. Thank you so much for your presence, sir. So now I request you to present your thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Good morning, most respected Professor Sampath, Head, Department of Sociology and Population Studies, Bharatiyar University. Dearest friend, Professor Suresh, Department of Sociology and Population Studies, Bharatiyar University. Colleagues, friends, delegates. Very good morning to you all. Let me take this opportunity to thank Bharatiyar University for giving me this opportunity to share my views on the relevance of transdisciplinary research in pandemics, climate change, and growing inequality. This is a conceptual review very recently initiated. So I would like to dedicate this particular review to our helping professionals and victims of pandemics, climate change, and growing inequality, especially the victims of COVID-19. My talk, today's talk, broadly divided into three major sections. As I said already, it's a conceptual review. So the first section in my review, I'm going to discuss 6 components, which includes the outcome of my talk, followed by a few minutes we'll use it for self-appraisal, evaluating ourselves on the transdisciplinary research, and also we'll set the target at the end of my talk, what would be the learning outcome of our participants, followed by a brief introduction, data sources. Throughout my talk, every views would be supported by the available research. And also I'm going to present the limitations of my talk, like based on the sources, followed by background and objectives. I've also designed few objectives for this talk. And then I'm going to present the conceptual framework of transdisciplinary approach, where I'm going to present my views on there is a scope for all of us, whether you are from humanities discipline or social sciences discipline or engineering or science or medicine, whatever is your discipline. So transdisciplinary approach gives a direction, means it gives a way to do research, not just only in India, across the globe. And the last part in the first section deals with characteristics and features of transdisciplinary approach. Therefore, the section 1 gives a kind of overview of my talk. The section 2, it will take us to in the detailed case discussion to be with readiness and response during the crisis time. Like I'm going to justify the urgent need for transdisciplinary research during the crisis period. Networking and collaborations. When we look at the futures of transdisciplinary research, networking and collaborations plays a vital role, followed by case synthesis. So I'm going to look at 3 case studies: pandemics, climate change, growing inequalities. Lessons can be learned from those cases, and also we can draw future directions by adapting the methodological directions of transdisciplinary approach, followed by science and solutions of the global problems. For every problem, there is always a solution. But we are through this talk, I'm going to look at it whether we can solve those problems through research, followed by benefits and challenges of transdisciplinary research approach. I'm going to present a few hypotheses by highlighting the merits and challenges before us. And the last part in this section 2 deals with future prospects of academic and research collaborations. The third section, which will have 6 subcomponents, will start with the process of co-production of knowledge and sustainability transformation beyond crisis and development measures, like in what way the transdisciplinary research can contribute, future research collaborations, and evidence-based policies, competencies, followed by summary and conclusions. I know it's an extended introduction. So throughout my talk, I'm going to refer 10 keywords, which includes transdisciplinary research, growing inequality, global health diplomacy, evidence-based policy, cross-agency collaboration, networking and collaborations, effective epidemic response, co-production of knowledge, transformative science, and sustainability science. Section 1. The first part, expected outcome. At the end of today's talk, I sincerely hope that you will realize the relevance of the following points. Number one, to understand the relevance of scientific contributions during and after the crisis, including the pandemic crisis, climate change, and growing inequality. The second, to learn skills of evidence synthesis. Evidence synthesis means evidence of evidences, how we can do that. Scientific input for public policies, including health policies and social policies. Third outcome would be significance of transdisciplinary approach in socio-economic and political context, where I'm going to present the views on the science versus common sense ideology. Incorporation of the best available knowledge to deal with pandemics, climate change, and growing inequality. At the end, this work will provide overview and relevance of TDR in those crises. Just to sum up, I would like to refer Henry Ford wording quote on coming together is a beginning, keeping together is the progress, working together is success. That is the success mantra of transdisciplinary research. I would request you all, our participants, please think the following points. Self-appraisal. So is there any need for evidence-based policy in our country or across the globe? Just think whether do we need any kind of evidence-based policies? Do we need to enhance our research competencies, whichever is your level, it's a beginner or medium, middle level professionals or senior level professionals, all levels. Is there any need to enhance our competencies in research? Science versus common sense. During the crisis time, do we need to believe common sense or science? Are you interested in conducting a research project which includes minor, major, or whichever is the project? Are you planning to extend or expand your publications in peer-reviewed journals? Would you like to submit policy briefs? Would you like to integrate innovative teaching methodology? Would you like to do a lot of work on evidence synthesis? Would you like to go for co-supervision of research, including PhD postdocs? Would you like to integrate innovative interventions methods? If you have the answer yes, that means there's a high time we must understand and learn transdisciplinary research in our work, in our ongoing research work. The contemporary society witnessed humanitarian crises, including poverty, increased inequality, regional conflicts, civil wars, disasters, global climate change, pandemics, etc. That forced us to find an alternative solutions that solve complex problems at the same time. The debate of sustainability development models, like we had MDGs, and then we could not achieve MDGs, then we are having MDGs, and what went wrong and where it went wrong. Is there any need for holistic solutions to re-examine the network of complex problems? Health and development debate. That means the health and development threat around the world. So the debate of health beyond biomedicine concept, social determinants of health, sociology of medicine, lack of vulnerability analysis, global impact assessment to draw future directions, and why transdisciplinary research matters for development. So based on that framework, I was looking for data and published work. So with the limited time period, I could collect evidences from the following sources, which includes American Journal of Public Health, Future, Bioscience, Science Advance, Elsewhere, Lancet, Springer, like the bunch of other journals. I could realize the two limitations during the entire process. There was a limited availability of data on its those crisis, its impacts on development, and some articles were not available for the access. With the rapidly changing ecology, climate change, epidemic will become more frequent. It's not the new phenomenon. The history repeated this problem. Growing problems, including the pandemics, climate change to natural disasters, and possibilities for evaluating and prescribing relevant policies. Uncertainty, complex problems, which gave a directions for the new knowledge process. Integrate best available knowledge, reconcile values and preparedness. Global vulnerability to emerging and re-emerging threats to humans. For instance, emerging and re-emerging infectious diseases, which I'm going to discuss later. Interlink between society, economy, environment, and development. In a systemic perspective, relevance of economic and mathematical modeling for prediction. So keeping this background, was again looking for some more data. So the globalization and global economy witnessed several disasters and crises during the 19th and 20th century, starting with global financial crisis in the United States, natural disasters across the globe, fall of Berlin Wall in Berlin, in Germany, which led to Euro crisis, dissolution of the Soviet Union during 90s, and some parts of the world experienced democracy crisis, integration of new economic policy, integration of new public management, which results in huge crisis. Japanese property bubble, again during the 80s, Japanese crisis, welfare crisis, natural disasters. Actually, all those disasters and crises led to economic crisis, societal crisis, political crisis, which led to the humanitarian crisis. Look at the 2020 data. We are just, it's just June month. We have to go for many more months. But within the 6-month period, we experienced several disasters across the globe, starting with the Brazil crisis, Indonesian crisis, Amazon rainforest, Australian forest fire. And then in India, we had several cyclones, flood. And then now the COVID crisis started in Wuhan city in China. With that background, I developed 5 specific objectives for this particular review. The first objective deals with to understand the conceptual framework and relevance of transdisciplinary research and development. The second objective to investigate the crisis and its impact. PCCGI means pandemics, climate change, growing inequality, impacts, and interaction between socio-economic development. In transdisciplinary research, we need to understand direct and indirect interaction between these variables. Therefore, I included this as one of the objectives. The third objectives include to examine global impact of pandemics, climate change, and growing inequality, past and present. The fourth objective, to explore the process of integrating through networking the best available knowledge. That means the process of transdisciplinary research. At the end, to document the evidences to support the scientific contributions during the humanitarian crisis. Therefore, I'm going to nullify the debate of common sense versus science. So, let me begin with the conceptual framework. We have several authors here in this slide. They've given their opinion on the meaning of transdisciplinary research. The term transdisciplinary research is used for the first time by the French psychologist Piaget. He stressed the need for interaction among various subjects and branches. I remember, like in the past few years, many researchers from the subject area of humanities and social sciences, they will come with the question, sir, is there any scope for our subjects in research? According to the psychologist, yes, there is a scope for everyone in research. The generation and utilization of research frameworks and admixed ideas that could not come from or fit into any one field. Yes, It's not just about one supreme or monopoly of one branch. All of us can work together using a common conceptual framework to unite a variety of disciplines, enabling the deepest collaboration across academic field and with other stakeholders. In transdisciplinary research, the collaboration, it's not just only the researchers. The collaboration, it also includes multi-stakeholders, policymakers, practitioners, people working in the civil society organizations, community, individuals, etc. It involves initiatives, collaborations, and networking among academics, governments, business enterprises, and civil society, integrating knowledge across and beyond academic disciplines, coordinated systematic thinking and actions in the context of uncertainty. Yes, during this kind of crisis, there's a need for coordinated systematic thinking. That's what across the globe, scientists are realizing the necessity of coordinated systematic thinking. I mean, the transdisciplinary research. So it is also about alternative approaches, including multiple evidence-based approach. We have an interesting work by Lang, The New Ways of Knowledge Production and Decision Making. He says, so the transdisciplinary research approach, we can link at all levels, like problem framing through the team. The team means it's not the multidisciplinary team, it's a transdisciplinary team. The transdisciplinary team includes scientists from social science stream, humanities stream, natural sciences stream, physical sciences, basic sciences, applied sciences, medical sciences, etc. They can do the co-creation of solution-oriented transferable knowledge and integration and application of created knowledge. The whole process of research, which involves multiple teams, starting with the realistic problem, the social problems, economic problems, political problems, health problems. The process includes collaborative problem framing and building a collaborative research team, co-creating of solution-oriented and transferable knowledge through collective research, reintegrating and applying the co-created knowledge. We have an interesting work by Lang again. He says here in this work, the whole process, again and again, he highlights the importance of co-creation of knowledge, reintegrating and collaborating with the team. The science of transdisciplinary approach, according to McGregor, the paper published in Transdisciplinary Journal of Engineering and Science, I would like to recollect his views on the transdisciplinary approach. He says that it links with ontology, the reality, epistemology, the process of knowledge generation, axiology and logic. That means it says the integration of theories, integration of practice, integration of reality, integration of social, economic, political, and environmental issues, and then come out with the co-creation of knowledge, which will lead to social change. That means ontology, epistemology, by bringing the logic, and that will lead to the solution. The epistemology of transdisciplinary approach, another work by Max Neff, was published in Ecological Economics. Here, the values, ethics, and philosophies can be combined during the planning, designing of the methods, and then the other aspects by integrating various subjects, discipline, or understanding the present world in all its complexities. So he says, only the transdisciplinary research will help us to understand in all dimensions by anticipating the future challenges. Yes, rightly, the COVID crisis is an evidence that, like, we cannot look at the problem in one dimension. We cannot just look at health as only understanding the number of tested cases, or understanding with the number of only the recoveries, or understanding number of infections. This is much more beyond. So attempt to solve complex problems and situations, of course. So Max says the transdisciplinary research will definitely help us to understand the complex problems and situations where we can have sustainable solutions. Another work by Serro and Newman, he says in this work, the process of transdisciplinary approach, he says 3 phases in his work. 3 phases. Phase 1 deals with problem framing, team building. Second phase, co-creation of solutions-oriented transferable knowledge. Phase 3, reintegration and application of created knowledge. So primarily the transdisciplinary approach talks about integrated and coordinated response to deal with the complex crisis and humanitarian crisis. It talks about the coordinated activities. With that, we can draw the characteristics of transdisciplinary science. Again, another work by Winkel. In this work, they have done an excellent and beautiful analysis of the various characteristics of sustainable science, which is the transdisciplinary research. It says, it focuses on real world problems. It talks about the normality, diverse theoretical framework. It's not just only the modeling. It's also about the expertise from various disciplines, induction of other stakeholders, including the practitioners and policymakers, integration of different forms of knowledge, practicing of different types of knowledge, generating societal and scientific impact, fostering social learning for collective action. So these were the characteristics of transdisciplinary research. Now, we have a debate. Can we go beyond boundaries? That's another work by Rudra. When you get time, please go through it. It talks about the paradigm shift in research beyond disciplines, a dynamic relationship between various branches, research integration across boundaries, our only target to deal with the real life situations. Fascinating possibilities, specialization in isolation. There is another work published in journal. It talks about science strategy to combat problems including pandemics, climate change, and growing inequalities. There's an interesting work by Korhan. Please go through this paper. Excellent. He says here, we can't work individually. You don't isolate yourself in a laboratory or in your own office or in your own subject discipline. Please come out. And the new century, we have witnessed with several disasters and crises. Can we adequately tackle problem from the sphere of specific individual disciplines? Transdisciplinary is the result of coordination between all hierarchical levels. So we have an interesting work by Paul Stock. Transdisciplinary knowledge is a new kind of knowledge that competes monodisciplinary knowledge. Yes. Look at this diagram. Look at this matrix. Multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary, and transdisciplinary. Says here that defining the characteristics of integrating research approaches. The transdisciplinary integrates almost everything. Synthesis of new discipline and theory, problem solving through collaborations, interactive research process. It's not just only one area, involve multiple discipline like other areas till involves implementation of research results, starting with the conceptualization to dissemination. So the transdisciplinary has in this huge scope. We have another interesting view on this particular approach. Twomey says we need to have a holistic view and also out of box thinking to integrate the merits of transdisciplinary research approach in our ongoing research projects. Like he talks about holism, philosophy, learning theory, linguistics, complexities, like other issues. So in practice, let's go back to the previous slides. All over again and again, I insisted the importance of collaboration. So collaboration is an intense form of interaction with multiple stakeholders that allows for effective communication as well as sharing of competence and other resources. I'm also going to discuss the merits of collaborations later, the merits of transdisciplinary approach. A well-defined and agreed on division of responsibilities between the participants will enable a smooth execution of collaborative projects and increase your chance of success in terms of peer-reviewed publications. Collaborations requires a highly responsible attitude and diligence. Integrated coordinated response, including problem framing, team building, co-creation of solution-oriented transferable knowledge, and reintegration application of created knowledge. One of the major merit of this particular approach is that, look at this picture. This was published in Nature Journal, which has almost 47 impact factor. So the article title itself, Collaborations, the Rise of Research Networks. This matrix says here, bright lines in this map of scientific collaborations between 2005 and 2009 show many joint publications. That means the transdisciplinary research will lead to several publications. Therefore, we need to enhance such kind of models in our work. Scientific collaboration has become a major issue in science policy because everybody talks about evidence-based medicine, evidence-based social work, evidence-based public health, evidence-based management. Collaboration has become a prerequisite for modern science. I hope at the end of my talk, you will realize this particular point. Scientific or academic research requires a diverse set of skills and capabilities, and that these skills and capabilities are usually developed over a substantial period of time. Idea for research collaborations can provide motivation. Please go through Malin's work where he consolidated all these points and highlighted the need for transdisciplinary research. This approach, a new collaboration pattern or changing the global balance of science by Lang, says the required new ways of knowledge production and decision making and integrating the best available knowledge for societal development, economic development, social development. So it's a holistic view to understand the network of problems and how they are interrelated. Again, this particular approach is going to help you in terms of expansion of your co-authorships with other researchers across the globe. Look at this diagram. Various causes of collaborations, various forms of collaborations causes. Actually, this work, this is the merits of transdisciplinary approach. It says it will enhance your collaboration, it will enhance your publications, it will enhance your research projects, it will enhance your co-authorships. Collaboration is normally a good thing from a wide public perspective. Knowledge is better transferred and combined by collaborations, and co-authored papers tend to be cited more frequently. Many university leaders trying to increase collaborations with Europe, Asia, America, even other countries, but finding it difficult to identify responsive contacts. See, MOUs after MOUs, collaborations after collaborations. It is not the paper is going to work, it's all about the individuals is going to work. But despite having excellent facilities in our country and stuff to offer, but somehow we are not in that position to reach to that level of translating our knowledge through the transdisciplinary approach. We have an excellent work by Scott Burris, the new public health law, where he talks about the transdisciplinary approach to practice and advocacy. There he talks about the complexities related to this particular approach. So the futures, which includes several dimensions, those things we have already discussed. There's some myths and realities about the transdisciplinary approach. Look at this statement. I thought transdisciplinary meant using multiple subjects at once. Now I think it's using parts of topics to gain an overall view of a concept or a problem. We have an interesting work by Vanasuba, where this is saying the methodological philosophy of the transdisciplinary approach. They says So we'll have to work out the complex situations by bringing the synthesis of ideas. So therefore, those aspects were part of my first part of the talk. Let me now take you to the second section of my talk, which deals with readiness and response, urgent need for transdisciplinary approach, networking and collaboration in research, case synthesis, and global impact of pandemics, climate change, growing inequalities, science and solutions of the global problems, benefits and challenges of transdisciplinary research, future directions. It's an interesting work by Julius, Theories of Sustainable Development. When you get the time, please go through this work where he talks about the application of sustainable development models and the transdisciplinary approach. Readiness and response. Yes, there is an urgent need for transdisciplinary approach at this juncture. Look at this picture. All of us, we are all sitting in our office or in our laboratory or in our own workspace. We are not willing to work with others. So the new direction, new philosophy research itself, it recommends all of us to collaborate across disciplines and organizations. Then only you will succeed in research. Which again highlights the process of transdisciplinary collaboration, where networking of research collaborations are expanding in every region of the globe. It promotes cross-agency collaboration and public participation. Knowledge is better transferred. Knowledge interaction and synthesis have been highlighted here. The case synthesis, I would like to recollect some case evidences to integrate the relevance of transdisciplinary approach. So before I start these cases, I would like to give you a brief overview about India case, because I'm also going to look at the Indian experience. Case of India, look at since 1990s, a lot of efforts have been directed towards achieving the desired goals in all macroeconomic parameters. This includes to achieve faster economic growth, higher exports earnings, greater foreign exchange reserves, enhancing foreign direct investment, outsourcing of activities, facilities. But somehow we all failed to address the following issues. For example, healthcare infrastructure, investment in healthcare infrastructure, environmental issues, intersectoral partnerships, innovative ecosystem management. So those issues chronically underfunded, unregulated, and as inadequate public health infrastructure. Look at the COVID situation in our country. We really don't know at the end of November or December how our existing system is going to support not just only the COVID cases, other than COVID cases, like the global burden of diseases in our country, according to WHO, deaths due to IMR, MMR, it's much more than COVID. Deaths due to tuberculosis, deaths due to other communicable and non-communicable diseases is more. But right now in our country, the existing facilities have been directed towards only the COVID cases, mostly COVID cases. So therefore, the government spending, which has a long impact. Since 1951 to till date, the public investment, it's very thin. It shows the withdrawal behavior of state, unregulated private sector, poor public health indicators, and emerging infectious diseases like COVID. Now, look at the context of these three diseases and in India. Most problems cannot be solved with the multidisciplinary and interdisciplinary approach that we have seen in the first part of my talk. Beyond being a health crisis to being a full-blown economic and social crisis. There's an interesting work by Jorgensen, Urgent Need for Multidisciplinary and Transdisciplinary Approach. He says, we cannot look at the problem in one dimension. There is a need for multi-dimensions. Pandemic. So the pandemic, I would like to refer the COVID case. Look at the COVID case. So far, the COVID pandemic and the associated economic and social crisis are posing huge challenge across the globe. Availability of best accurate information. We don't have the best available accurate information at this juncture on the free or affordable COVID testing and treatment, other issues, bunch of issues. Emerging issues related to jobs, and income of millions of people, social safety net, income support schemes, burden on women, migrants, and laborers in the informal sector. One of the most serious challenge the world faced in the recent time, that is the COVID pandemic, total cost is yet to unfold. Restriction on economic activity, including no production, no firms unable to sell their goods and services. High economic and social cost around the world have been predicted. Social distancing and lockdown and quarantine again gave a lot of other issues, including mental health issues. Challenges in production and consumption pattern, share market crisis, closure of business operations, sending millions of workers back home, which may lead to labor crisis. Borders have been closed, value chains have been disrupted, travel, trade, and institutions closing across the globe. More than 30 million people could fall into poverty in the absence of active policies to protect or substitute income flows to vulnerable populations. Data was given by UNDP as well as the World Bank. This will severely impact the health and well-being of large parts of the population till 2022. The pandemic, look at the 20th century. we had experienced too many deadliest pandemics: Ebola, HIV, Spanish flu, SARS-1, and now SARS-2. The origin again here, somehow we could not contextualize the linkages between the causes and consequences of pandemics, the human-animal interface to the diseases emergence process, future prevention strategies like social mobilization, public health education, behavioral change, and communication strategies. So there's an interesting work published in Nature, the new 21st Century Science for Effective Epidemic Response and Zoonotic Potential of Influenza Viruses, a comprehensive overview. In this two work, it highlights the need for transdisciplinary approach to deal with the present crisis in anticipating the future crisis. Look at the death toll due to pandemics. We had huge, lives have been lost. It's not just only about the mortality rate. It is all about the development. It is all about the mental health, and also absence of non-pharmaceutical interventions, lack of public health surveillance and epidemiological data, because we need these two things for the policy formulation. Look at the COVID situation till date. Till yesterday, the COVID-19 is affecting more than 216 countries and union territories around the world. I have reported a total of close to 10 million now, 10 million confirmed cases, and a death toll of around 5 lakhs, nearing 5 lakhs deaths. The COVID-19 reported cases and deaths across the globe. Look at this table. US, Brazil, Russia, and India. So India, the growth rate is going like anything. We may reach maybe the next level. But the problem here, somehow the existing system is not really supporting the infection rate. So there's another work published in EMBO reports, Pricing Infectious Diseases. They have contextualized several infectious diseases and its impact on society and the financial losses. They predicted they calculated huge, economic, societal, and financial losses due to the pandemics. You can just have a look on this particular table: loss of production, loss of employment, poverty, unemployment, and financial crisis. Look at another table by Oscar's work. In this work, they have given the consolidated data of several epidemics in the 19th and 20th century. The most devastating pandemic was the Black Death, and now the COVID epidemic, COVID pandemic. So therefore here, So this will lead to economic, social, and political challenge. Of course, yes. If you are not controlling or preventing such kind of pandemics right now or in near future, this may lead to a major humanitarian crisis. So second is the climate change. Of course, the climate change which was led to global exposure and its impacts on human lives, which includes development, economy, and infrastructure, as well as environment. New knowledge production models again exposed in climate change. Lack of evidence-based climate change policy have been exposed. Global warming has increased right now, which led to flood, cyclone, drought, several other environmental issues have been cited in these papers. Climate change and transdisciplinary science, every research authors have highlighted the necessity of having transdisciplinary research while dealing with the climate change issues, because the climate change issues which will not deal with only one dimension, which will have direct and indirect impacts on our society. Look at this work by Corinne. Climate change induced heat risks for migrant populations working in brick kilns in India, where they highlighted three important points. Heat wave that melted pavements in Delhi and caused thousands of deaths, mainly among the most marginalized populations. Look at even the pandemics. Maximum crises or issues or problems are happening at this group only. Transdisciplinary review climate change, reinforcing heat feedback loops, the environmental sustainability and human rights-based approach framework. The timeline of climate change, we have another work starting with 18th century, 19th century, and 20th century. Several climate change has happened. So the impact measurement by using the more multidisciplinary or monodisciplinary, which will not give you a good results, but the transdisciplinary will give you very good results. Therefore, the climate change is the biggest global health threat of the 21st century. So as I said earlier, the climate change impact, which will have impacts on the physical system, biological, ecological system, and human health, ultimately that will lead to economic and social impact, was cited by another article published in Public Health Journal. The third case, growing inequality. Growing inequality in terms of economic inequality, health inequality, gender-based inequality. Inequality across the globe is the same. For example, caste system in India, racism in United States, economic divisions in UK are almost the same. Evidence indicates that growing inequality can also be observed in many countries. Here, the resource availability and resource utilization inequalities here. Marginalized people are getting lesser resources than people belongs to the upper class. Collaborating a variety of transdisciplinary research initiatives which will lead to eliminate health disparities. There is another interesting work published in American Journal of Public Health, which talks about the cross-agency collaboration and public participation, which will aim to eliminate disparities in eliminating health disparities. The case of growing inequalities across the globe witnessed that always the marginalized have been affected more. For example, here in this data, industrialized economies are having more resources than emerging economies. That means the growing inequality is much more in those emerging economies. Of course, it is there in the industrialized economies. To deal with the global inequality, there is a need for researchers' intervention. Look at this picture. The rise of inequality around the world during 80s to 2018. We have a data from India, United States, Russia, China, and Europe. Now the problem here, Europe, the slope, it is almost manageable. Look at China. Again, till 2005, it was growing, but now Again, it's somehow manageable. United States, something much better. But look at the case of India, the growing inequality. It's on rise. So inequality in different regions of the world, which have already resulted in unrest over inequality, will grow. Like in United States, what has happened in the last month. Again in India, the growing inequality, which will lead to several other issues. Another case of infant mortality rate, this data I already cited. So IMR, it is more among people belongs to minorities or people belongs to SC, ST. There's a work in health inequalities research in India, published in Open Access Journal, International Journal of Equity in Health. They've clearly mentioned the causes and consequences of higher infant mortality rate among the poor economic categories and region-wise. So Bimaru states it's more, and then compared to Kerala and Tamil Nadu, Karnataka. Therefore, the inequality situation in our country, which has 4-5 dimensions. Look at the health indicators: crude birth rate, death rate, IMR, anemia, and then anemia among pregnant women, which is more in rural areas than the urban areas, which is more in people belongs to SC, ST population and minority group. So the data witnessed, inequality of resources distribution, rural versus urban areas, inequality of services available, like regional variations, inequality of service access, inequality of participation, inequality of health status. We have another data which talks about health disparity by economic groups by urban India. They're given an excellent analysis. Most of our resources have been rooted in urban areas than in the rural areas. Historically, whether it's a pandemic crisis or climate change or the inequality, the evidence shows like, there are several factors or the reasons for such kind of crises. Let me consolidate the impact of pandemics, climate change, and growing inequality in the qualitative manner. All those three crises have witnessed loss of lives, injuries, economic loss, loss of infrastructure, disturbance in the global order, health inequality, educational impact, gender issues, domestic violence, individual isolation, economic impact, political impact, environmental issues, and then issues for a person with special needs and elderly, religious impact. Therefore, there is an urgent need, strategic, need for effective strategies to deal with these issues. Poorer countries or individuals are more negatively affected. This has a multiple economic, political, and social implications. Impact assessment at the local, regional, and global scales are needed. Therefore, we need long-run social and economic consequences approaches. The science solutions are really needed to deal with the issues. As I said already, the problem, it is connected with several other issues. Therefore, urgent need for transdisciplinary approach to deal with those three issues, where we can now multidisciplinary team to understand the real life situation problems by adapting this scientific approach to create a new knowledge, where we can transfer that new knowledge for policy making, interventions, problem solving. So the benefits and challenges of transdisciplinary approach, I would like to highlight the first benefit. You can call it as a benefit or challenge. Identifying the felt need. There is a debate in social sciences research whether the felt need matters or real need matters. But we need to identify through the local partners. The felt need deals with the causes. The real needs deals with the consequences. So therefore, the first benefit of the transdisciplinary approach, this will help us in terms of identifying the felt need of the society, the felt need of healthcare, the felt need of economy. For instance, take top 10 successful or unsuccessful government programs in our country. Analyze it and identify the reasons for the success or reasons for the failure. You will come to know exactly the causes, that means the felt need. Therefore, the transdisciplinary approach is going to help you in terms of identifying the felt need. Second, this will help us in terms of filling the gap from the policymakers to the practitioners. We need to rebuild up on evidence base for national and international policy making. The third benefit or the challenge, emerging issues, public accountability crisis. We have an interesting work published by Christopher Wood, The Art of the State, where it talks about the need for co-production of knowledge and policy to resolve complex problems. Therefore, in order to ensure the public accountability crisis, we need more evidences. So therefore, this approach is going to give the merits. The fourth issue, reconstructing critically damaged system, where this will help us in terms of dealing with human rights based approach framework. And the fifth issue, or the fifth merit, it will help us in terms of understanding the importance of political will and strategic leadership. At this juncture, the available literature says like there's a need for risk assessment, vulnerability identification, present and post-crisis studies, scale up domestic resources, social investment, redistribution of resources, fostering inclusiveness and resilience. Therefore, this will help our government to devise the right kind of policies. Therefore, the transdisciplinary research approach will help us in terms of identifying these aspects. Of course, it will strengthen the policy capacity, which will promote evidence-based policy. The evidence-based policy which will give directions to the government to do the felt need-based policies and programs. We have an interesting publication in Lancet, Good Health at Low Cost 25 years on, Lessons for the Future Healthcare System Strengthening. In this particular work, they had highlighted the importance of transdisciplinary research in terms of dealing with common issues. For everything, we need a data. Look at this guy, data scientist. Without data, you are just another person with an opinion. In policy, in development, in research, what do we need? We need availability of high quality data. Of course, the good information is needed for good decision making, and that will lead to developing synthesis. Look at this, the knowledge integration and synthesis, by bringing multi-stakeholders participation to create synergies for the future prospect of academic and research collaboration, which will give a transparency and accountability and responsibility by creating synergies between government, NGOs, private organizations, community donor organizations, and also research institutions. One of the merits of transdisciplinary approach, look at this table, high impact journals, Superfund research programs, papers published in those high impact journals, 100% articles they have focused on transdisciplinary approach, starting with the New England Journal of Medicine, the impact factor 70 and above. And then the last one, Annual Review of Public Health. These are all transdisciplinary journals. They accept articles from across disciplines. So the evidence shows that the immediate benefit for the researchers, that if you are working with the transdisciplinary team, means your work, publication acceptance, peer acceptance will be much better than the other journals. Yes, these are the journals. They accept mostly papers based on transdisciplinary approach. So that was section 2. The last section, I will not take much time, maybe 10-15 minutes I will wind up this section. But indeed, it's needed to understand these issues too. So section 1, we have seen the conceptual framework. Section 2, we have seen the problems and then the case studies. Now the sections 2, 3, we are going to look at its application in the form of co-production of knowledge. The process of co-production of knowledge and sustainability transformation, which includes the debates related to to promote transdisciplinary approach constraints, systematic reviews and meta-synthesis in way of understanding evidence of evidences, use of mixed methods, promotion of time series analysis and adapting prediction models. Cost and benefit of collaborations. It provides access to resources, including funding, facilities, and ideas. Yes, the transdisciplinary research approach, which will give you the benefit of availing funding from many other countries and using the facilities and ideas. It will be an essential for grand challenges in physics, environmental health sciences, social sciences, humanities, and other subjects. Collaborative papers tend to get cited more often. Look at this picture. So beyond crisis and development measures, in what way transdisciplinary contributes? As a researcher, look at this picture. The global research collaboration and collaborative papers has more citations. That means the impact factors. So people will cite your work more if you are working with the transdisciplinary team. It is evidence in this particular publication. So future research and moving beyond interdisciplinary research, of course, right now we need to realize the importance of networking at all levels, regional, national, global, identification of funding sources at all levels, preparation of publication plan and upgradation of your CV, current CV, and then you can contact the other researchers across the globe. Research proposal preparation by integrating the merits of transdisciplinary methods, creating a transdisciplinary knowledge base. The future prospects of academic and research collaborations. So whatever we have seen in the section 1 and 2, we must adapt the following methods. Collaborative research and joint projects. Indeed, now the future of research depends upon this particular approach. To identify a common course to teach for the researchers or faculty members is another way of integrating transdisciplinary approach. Like a social science teacher can offer a course for IT students or engineering students, or engineering faculty can offer a course for social sciences students. For example, social sciences teachers can offer a method for understanding the societal models, for developing a technology-driven solutions. Similarly, IT faculties can teach the social science students for adapting IT solutions to social problems, to promote ICT-based practice, to conduct longitudinal study on pandemics, climate change, and growing inequalities, to identify free online transdisciplinary research courses, including course materials and resources, to identify source materials and develop skill development models focusing on these crises, and research skills and capacity building programs for researchers and practitioners. These points mostly highlighted in this particular journal, Transdisciplinary Research, published in Oxford Journals, American Institute of Biological Sciences. Scope and significance. So these points I have already highlighted, but right now what we need, that the willingness and attitudinal change to accept others' point of view. The success focused on researchers' ability to plan, coordinate, and perform the research and management of research team, crisis management, deadline management, management of deliverables, stakeholders management. Actually, these are all the critical issues in the transdisciplinary research, were mentioned by Denon from publication in this book. Stakeholder planning and management at this juncture, that's step 1 in transdisciplinary research. People who have an interest and involvement in this project, we need to identify that group. Identify and understand the key stakeholders, including donors, funding agencies, integrating branches. Project management, let me give an example. If it is a 3 years project, so your team, you need your team till the end of your project, starting with the definition of problem to looking for another research, methodological rigor in research, soundness and or precision of a study in terms of planning, data collection, analysis and reporting. Therefore, you need the team till the completion of your project. merits of systematic project management. Of course, you will gain the strength of your group, strength of your multi-transdisciplinary group in research while implementing such successful projects. Challenges and success in transdisciplinary research. This will help you in terms of identification of area of interest, developing a feasibility study, developing plots, failures. We will also learn to deal with the failures. We'll also learn to deal with the poor quality of data, or we'll also deal with someone else publishes your work, your similar work before you publish, to maintain research quality with rigor and soundness. So risk management, entire your research project, I'm sure the faculty members who have completed research, you might have faced a similar kind of risks. Staff leaving the project in between, poor quality of data, equipments breakdown, and then between to publish. So therefore, integrating ideas and competencies, it really matters. So of course, now the trend, it's changing. There's a paradigm shift approach towards transdisciplinary research. In policy science, researchers work together to provide solutions to public policies. That means the evidence-based policies. There is a general critique across the globe. The practices based on intuition, experts or peer opinion, tradition, and uncritical experience rather than on most adaptable scientific research finding as a lot of critics. Intention of increasing transparency by use of up-to-date interventions. This method will provide you such kind of intervention strategies, lack of quality of service and ethical issues. Of course, we can avail the benefits of advances in IT, changing role of public policy schools to address complexities in societal problems and macroeconomic problems and financial crisis. I would like to refer those three problems: pandemics, climate change, and growing inequalities. The widening gap between research and professional practices, and then heightening the demand for public accountability and organizational performance. So the last part of my talk, just the issues related to the competencies and gaps and needs. So the particular mix of motivations, attitudes, skills, and behaviors are needed at this juncture. Skills of evidence synthesis to enhance theoretical, methodological, and empirical novelty. So the article published in Future Journal, who is doing inter and transdisciplinary research and why, I must request you to please go through this paper. They get an excellent subsection on the competencies. So it reminds me to recollect a quote by Goethe, like, knowing is not enough, we must apply. Willing is not enough, we must do. All of us must be knowing whatever points have been discussed already, but it's all about the applications. So the competencies, I would like to categorize them into 5 groups. Causes and consequences of those crises, which includes recovery, mitigation, response, and preparation. Like if you are taking pandemics, recovery, mitigation, response, and preparation. Similarly to the other problems, we need to integrate the required competencies to deal with these issues, revisiting data sets, redefining relevant methodologies, the relevant methodologies in the sense the transdisciplinary approach, facilitating access to online resources. This is also another skill we must inculcate, and exploring culturally relevant approach. Synthesis evidences, that's evidence of evidences, rapidly and to provide massive intervention guidelines on long-term strategies for human happiness and well-being, social and economic recovery. To ensure adequate quality of your work and communicate the same with multi-stakeholders, including the policy briefs, to strengthen community-based risk assessment management. Therefore, these are the essential competencies we must inculcate in our risk practice, day-to-day practice. The future of pandemics, climate change, and growing inequality. These points I already highlighted, but it's like to recollect some other additional points. Our continued vulnerability and challenges to problems are really day by day increasing. Therefore, we need a research approach to develop alternative system to minimize the population exposure and risk, working together to address those challenges. Collaborative research with communication strategies. So it is everybody's job and responsibility to take part in this conversation about changing the economic system by Thomas from Harvard. So there's a web link. You may go through this web link, an excellent YouTube video on the relevance of transdisciplinary approach. So it talks about the opportunity to combine knowledge and skills from all over the world. Well, like irrespective of regional barriers, irrespective of subjects, we can combine the knowledge and skills. So initially, I had an opportunity to work with a few scientists from UK, US, China. So my experience was that it is all about attitudinal change, truthfulness, willingness to take responsibility. If you are ready to do that, many collaborators across the globe or many collaborators across the discipline would be interested in working with you. That was my own experience from US, UK, and China. Of course, there were failures and success in those collaborations, but we had more success models. Just to conclude my talk, I would like to reiterate the following concluding remarks. There's a need for coordinated systematic thinking and actions at this juncture to rebuild bridges through alternative knowledge systems and seek common solutions. The benefit of good science for good policies are needed at this juncture. Incorporation of the best of the available knowledge, indeed it is needed. Bridge the gap between scientific innovation and problem solving. Need for more collaborative research, high priority problems. In our research, we must target high priority problems. Therefore, healthcare crises are on the rise. It's time to care of the future of the global health. I mean here the global development, global environment, global equity. Therefore, it's a high time we must think of shifting our approach from whichever is the model you are adapting to the transdisciplinary approach. So the last word of my talk, the relevance of transdisciplinary approach, it shouldn't like kind of New Year resolution. We have heard so many things. We came to know so many case studies, examples. Please practice. Please try to identify your own group. Please try to form your own transdisciplinary team. Please come out of your comfort zone. Means come out of your own discipline. Look for the opportunity to work with the other researchers in other field related to the topic. Therefore, you will have an opportunity to have multiple citations, and also you will contribute to the existing body of knowledge. So thank you very much. Stay safe, healthy, connected, and keep learning. Thank you, organizers, for this opportunity.
Yeah. Thank you so much, sir. This is Sambat Kumar for a wonderful, wonderful presentation, sir, on transdisciplinary relevance of transdisciplinary approach in pandemics, climate change, and growing inequality. And I feel there is you connected all these three crises currently the globe faces, and you explained in detail how the transdisciplinary research would help the researchers to understand the connection between these issues. So we have a few questions. Can I say?
Please, sir. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah. The first question by Yasser Ashraf. What is your view on pregnant ladies refused by the hospitals for delivering their babies? Is this another growing inequality?
Yes,
yes.
Indeed it is. This particular problem which has structural and functional issues.
Yes.
It's a high time. As I said earlier, we need to extend our existing facilities. And also we need to have the kind of inclusiveness. In the name of gender or caste or class, nobody is having any kind of right to discriminate anyone on that ground. Therefore, my view here is that We need to have self-discipline. We need to
Yes.
practice priority-based. We need to provide our existing facilities and services on priority base. Therefore, I would request all of us, whether you are an individual citizen or the community or government or policymaker or service provider, on priority basis, need based, we must provide the facilities or we must contribute to the existing problem or issues. Therefore, this particular issue, it is there across the globe. Of course, it is based on some certain amount of violation of human rights. This shouldn't be done across globe anywhere.
Yes. Yes. So next question, again by Yasser Ashraf. What are the future coping strategies in the Indian context?
Sir, the future COVID strategies, not just only this particular COVID pandemic, based on my presentation, all pandemics, what was the future strategy? The future strategy has 3 dimensions. Number 1, we need to strengthen our health infrastructure. Number 1. Number 2, we need to create awareness, health promotion, creating awareness among the individuals. Number 3, strengthening our research base, finding answers for this problem through research. That is what the transdisciplinary research.
Yes, sir. What would be the coping strategies, sir, when the individual level, at the individual level?
Sir, the coping strategies, we should not undermine the ability of others. That means when we are in quarantine or when we are in the home quarantine, we should not disturb others. We should accept others' point of view. We should maintain a balanced mindset, means happiness and well-being. So that will resolve many problems.
Yes.
And practicing self-discipline and practicing the social distancing protocols.
So next question is, what will be the effect of this pandemic on SDGs, sir, achieving these goals?
Sir, SDGs, I sincerely hope we need to rethink the SDGs strategies right now.
Yes.
Based on the outcome of this COVID-19. We have framed SDGs before COVID-19, but now the COVID-19, like for example, just think of our lives before the New Year Eve, everything was normal. All of us were enjoying together in a family, friends. But right now, let me give you an example of this webinar itself.
Yes.
To be very honest with you, sir, I'm not comfortable in delivering lectures through this particular method. Exactly. I would like to see my participants. I would like to see my, my co-learners in the class. Yes. Like in communication, we always say like 80% based on non-verbal communication.
Yes, sir.
Only 20% is a verbal communication. So this has a lot of negative aspects. Therefore, we need to have some amount of enabling strategies to deal with the crisis.
Yes. So next question is, sir, it's by Soumya from Bharatiya University. What are the limitations encountered by the scholars in applying transdisciplinary approaches?
Wow, that's really a very good question, sir. Yes. Now, the limitations are like this. Number 1, first we need to strengthen our conceptual understanding of the problem. Yes. Number 2, we need to develop like a team of researchers working across the globe. For example, you need to do an intensive search on researchers working on similar areas beyond your own discipline. Identify those individuals. Number 3, identify the funding sources for your own research. And number 4, update and upgrade your own CV. When you are conducting those researchers across the globe, they would expect 3 things from you as an individual. Number 1, do you have a promising concept note or a research proposal? Third, whether your present CV is supporting that particular concept note. Third, your motivational level. Therefore, they will test all those 3 things before we initiate. Therefore, these are the 3 important, very important points we need to consider before we start the transdisciplinary approach research. Therefore, the young researchers, I would suggest these are the step 1 in promoting the TR approach.
Yes. Next question is by Anis Rahman. What is your opinion on sociological temperament of our nation to prevent COVID-19 and inequality?
Wow, that's again this is an excellent question. I'm sure, sir, you would be knowing better than me. That's not my subject domain, but
Yes,
still I'll give my opinion on it. So we need to move beyond the conceptual framework of biomedicine
yes,
and development. We need to again consider the social determinants of developments. It is not just about only the biomedicine, inclusion of several other components, including elimination of caste system, elimination of untouchability, providing full employment, abolition of gender-based discrimination. Like that, we can name so many other problems.
yes, sir. Yes. So next question is by Indra Paridarshini. I think she asked a big question. And sir, in the course of COVID-19 and consequently in the post period, transdisciplinary research and mixed method design will be the dominant way of research. In such case, will uniqueness in research rely only on the subject matter of the research than on methodology?
Wow, that's again another very good question.
Yes.
I would call it as an hypothesis. It's not a question. It's
Question
an
actually.
hypothesis.
Yes.
It depends upon the research focus. I'm not advocating the transdisciplinary research approach here. I'm suggesting this is also another alternative method to deal with the crisis.
Yes. So next question is by Kubendran sir, actually from Bharatdasan University. What are the challenges that hamper science and social science research?
Wow, that's really very good.
Actually,
That's more-
sorry sir, actually Kubendran sir from VIT, Vellore
Okay.
Institute of Technology.
That was a very, very good question, actually. It's not a question. I would say here, ideological resistance to accept others.
Yes.
Ideological resistance, why should I work with others?
Yes.
Why should I accept others? It vice versa,
Yes.
both the sides. So that's what one of the major outcome I talk. We must break that particular line.
Yes. Yes. So next question is by Dr. Janaki, ma'am. Addressing concerns of persons with different disabilities during COVID lockdown is it gender structural inequality? Are women, children, persons with disabilities always remain in the periphery of research and policy implementation? Your comments, sir.
Wow, that was a really very good observation.
Yes.
Actually, the entire COVID process, when I was looking at the materials, articles, papers, or even blogs are available for everyone except person with special needs.
Yes.
That means there itself we are including that group.
Yes.
Actually, the problem during such kind of pandemic crisis, person with special needs were already having several other physical and psychological problems.
Yes.
This particular crisis will add more to that particular problem. Therefore, we need to have extra or additional intervention strategies for this particular group. Therefore,
Yes.
my suggestion here is that like as a policy makers or implementers as an individuals, we need to have a special consideration or extra consideration for this particular group to deal with the crisis.
Yes. So next is by Vijayalakshmi Krishnamohan. She asked, can you please suggest some Indian journals for transdisciplinary research articles?
Wow. I don't know. That's a question or that's a kind of
Actually,
academic debate.
Yeah.
No, sir, I'm just like contextualizing that question. That's a very good question.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
This is all about kind of monopoly of knowledge.
Yes.
Many journals abroad, they are publishing research papers published by our Indian scholars.
Okay.
It has several other ratios. I don't want to go into the debate of this
Yes,
thing, but the 2 points I would like to highlight. Number one, in India, we have few journals. Right now, they all migrated to Sage or Springer publications.
probably.
For example, Indian Journal of Labor Economics,
Okay.
which is an interdisciplinary journal or includes transdisciplinary work.
Okay.
As long as the India, when we had the publication in India, everything
Yes.
was available free of cost. But
Yes.
now they have migrated to Springer. Now the Springer, every article for the readers, they're charging 24 hours, 35 or 40 euros.
Oh,
For the publishers like us, if you want to publish your paper through open access platform, they're asking you to pay more than $2,000.
oh,
So therefore, that particular question, it's really required, a lot of academic debates to discuss the availability, accessibility, and affordability of those academic journals for our researchers.
research.
Please recollect one of my slide. Limitations of this particular work. Exactly, I face the same limitation. Papers are there, published by Indian scientists, written by Indian scientists, published by other journals, but they are asking for subscription, 24-hour subscription, 40 euros.
Oh, which is comparatively very costly for Indian setting. Yeah. So next question is this is by Dr. Janaki ma'am. Transdisciplinary sustainable in qualitative research is the way forward. Your comments on it, on this, sir?
Yes, exactly, sir. That's so. I did not distinguish the qualitative or quantitative. I always refer to research, which includes both quantitative and qualitative.
Yes. Yes. So next is by Arul Prasad, sir. Sir, in India, purist approach to research is more accepted than interdisciplinary research. Your views, sir, on this?
Sir, can you please say again the question? Can you please come
Sir,
again?
in India, that is purist approach. That's focus only on their own discipline approach to research is more accepted than interdisciplinary research. Your views on that, sir?
Wow. I would reject that particular statement because based on my presentation, there were 2 slides which talks about the acceptance rate among the peer group and impact factor that is more in transdisciplinary based research output.
Yes. So that is all, sir. Actually, yeah, that is all, sir. So
Wow.
it was.
I
Yes.
must thank the participants for asking such a the most relevant questions.
Yes, sir. So my one clarification, sir. Actually,
Yes, sir.
yeah.
Yes,
So
sir.
I am also into this transdisciplinary. Sometimes if one person takes care of the whole research process, but people who are there in other disciplines, sometimes they are not that involved in research. So in that condition, will this particular approach will it succeed, sir?
Wow, that's an excellent question. Sir, let me connect this with the newlywed couples.
Yes, sir.
Before honeymoon period and after honeymoon period.
Yes, sir.
We need to maintain that trustworthiness with all of us.
Yes, sir.
And all of us should work together. Otherwise, what will happen? Family breakup. Same thing here also.
So that happens, sir, sometimes. So that is what actually. So is it okay if some scholars maybe is a bit dominant, okay, maybe highly knowledgeable in that particular area, but people who are connected with him or collaborating with him maybe have a meager knowledge or lesser knowledge in that area. So will it be? Is it okay collaborating with them, or is all the people who are collaborating should have the equal understanding about the issues, sir?
Great. Excellent, sir. Another very good question. This is primarily a teamwork, sir. All of us. It's like, pillars holding that building.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah. So I think in one word you answered really well, sir. Yes, sir. So thank you so much, sir, for your really a wonderful session, and as well as clarified the queries raised by the participants. Thank you so much, sir, for your presence. Really, I think we have taken almost your time, more than an hour, but still, it was really useful, sir. We could understand the importance of transdisciplinary research, but we are already into that, but still we need to polish still more, sir. I think
Yes.
with your presentation, certainly we'll march forward in the right direction, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for your
Thank you, sir.
presence.
Thank you
Yes,
so
yes.
much.
Yes, and now I'll request Dr. Suresh Babu sir to propose vote of thanks.
Good afternoon, everyone present in the digital platform. Last 1.5 hours, we have been sharing the very vivid and lucid presentation by my friend Dr. Sigamani, the professor in the Department of Social Work, Central University of Tamil Nadu, Thiruvarur. Of course, this is the need of the hour. The Indian students or scholars or faculties of various parts of India have to be adapted. Why the developed nation is developing again and again? Because they are adapting that transdisciplinary or interdisciplinary research, which we are lagging that much. So today's lecture is really the crystal clear. Everyone, even layman, can also understand the PPT as well as the presentation given by the Dr. Sigamani. Sir, with small note, and Department of Sociology and Population Studies, Pavidiyar University, Coimbatore, we wholeheartedly thank you and appreciate your presence over here. And definitely the students and scholars will not leave you. Definitely they will connect with you through the email. They will get a lot of information with regard to transdisciplinary research or anything which is related to publication of papers or going abroad. What are the things which you experience in your entire career? Definitely you will help on behalf of us. That's in that small note, I thank you very much for a wonderful presentation. And also I thank all the participants who are really involved for this session, and super questions raised by our participants, and they got the clarification with regard to this research. I thank Professor Sambat Kumar and the technical help by Dr. Prabhu and guest faculty of our department and various colleagues. I wholeheartedly thank my university authorities for giving us an opportunity to organize webinar series. Thank you so much once again. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Bye, sir. Bye, sir.
Bye, sir. Bye, sir.
Yeah, we'll meet offline, sir, soon.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you
Take care,
so much, sir. Yes, sir.
Bye,
Thank you, sir. Bye,